Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. I'm Ace, that's McMillian, and today we're going to be talking about one of our new favorite shows of the season, Frieren Beyond's Journey In. And of course, much more. But of course, before we get to all that, if you'd like to join me, my friend McMillian, as we discuss all things anime, sometimes manga, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as follow us on our social media so you can stay up to date on all things about the council. And with that being said, the council is now in session. Let the meeting begin. All right, everybody, welcome back for another week. Welcome back to the council meeting. Thank you all for joining us today. How you doing today, McMillian?
I'm doing good, my friend. Well rested. Time to get back into it.
It's time to get back into it. All right, so why don't you go ahead and hit the people with the agenda today?
All right, for the agenda today, as always, we're going to start off with council announcements. Then we will be talking about JJK episode 42 and 43. Then we'll be giving you guys the news that has been basically accumulating from this past couple of weeks, our weekly recommendation. And then we'll be ending it off with our review of Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
All right. Well, to be more exact, we're going to be starting off with Frieren Beyond's Journey's End, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to some council announcements. Starting this off, we do want to remind everybody that our last episode, episode 67.5, 67 part 2, if you will, our Sukuna versus Maharaga review is out now on YouTube, as well as your favorite audio only platforms. And I do want to take this time to remind everybody that JJK is our featured anime right now for the podcast. What does that mean? So that means both me and McMillian are going to be covering JJK until it is over with. Today we're going to be doing episode 42 and 43. So if you want to go ahead and skip to that review now, you can go ahead and go to the chapters in the description below. Moving on from there, we want to give an update on the Good Night World review, and I'm gonna be candidly honest with you guys. I'm gonna look right in the camera. All right, we recorded it. Okay, we recorded that episode, but then we burnt it. We burnt that episode. Okay, I'm gonna keep it straight with y'all. We did about 35 minutes, and after I got done with that recording, someone was like, "Nah, I'm not feeling this. I feel like everything I really need to say about this show, I can probably say in about 5 minutes."
Yeah, so we're probably gonna hit you with it later.
Yeah. So what we're probably gonna do is probably do like a little mini review and hit y'all with that in the next episode. I do apologize for that, but yeah. But yeah, I guess once you hear our review, you'll understand why maybe we decided to go this route. But moving on from there, I'm gonna hand this our last council announcement off to our friend McMillian there.
Yep. So for all of you know, we have been, since the inception of Gurren Otaku Council, we have been friends with a certain podcast called The Blurred Mob, and I had the fortunate opportunity to join Floop over on the Blurred Mob podcast to talk about the Marvels movie, as well as the second season of Loki. So if you're interested in either one of those, please go ahead over there and check them out and watch those two reviews that I was able to join them for.
All right. With all that being said, that is today. That's all the council announcements that we have for today, or rather, excuse me. Now we're gonna hop into today's first review, starting us off once again with Frieren's Beyond Journey's End, and we're gonna once again start us off with a spoiler warning. So for anybody who has not yet seen the show or may not necessarily fully caught up on all the episodes, this is your spoiler warning, because we will be talking about things that have happened throughout the series, throughout this discussion here. All right, so you want to go ahead and kick us off, McMillian?
Yeah, just to let you know, at the time of this recording, I believe 12 episodes are out, so we'll be talking about stuff that happened within those 12 episodes, just so people are aware.
13 to be exact, but yeah, but we're gonna keep it in the 12 episodes because I haven't seen the latest episode.
Yeah, I was about to say technically I could do that, but I'd be spoiling Ace. So for those that, well, actually, if you're watching this point, you know what it is. But so yeah, Frieren, we're gonna basically talk about what we like about the show, and if we feel like you guys should watch it, as well as the characters and stuff like that. So just to get it started, I'll just say this: I'm really enjoying it. I think when we first talked about Frieren, I didn't realize it was the first episode was 1 hour long, and I think that just goes to show how good of a show it is.
Yeah.
So you seem like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say no. We might as well tell them what the hell this is, but no, you just mentioned if you're listening,
Yeah, if you
you
listen past
probably
the
know what it is.
spoiler,
But just in case you don't, why don't you go ahead and at least tell them the plot of the show, just in case
yeah.
for people who are listening that
So
may not know what
basically,
it is.
so basically, it centers around this girl named Frieren, who happens to be an elf who was a part of the heroes party of this world that they once traveled to defeat the Demon King. They did so successfully, and then this is basically a story of her journey after those events and her deciding to basically spend more time. I want to say as like humans do, but it's more of like kind of reconnecting with her old party because while she was adventuring, she didn't really get like she kind of took the years there of their adventuring for granted.
Hmm.
Because as at the time of the show basically begins, it starts off with them at the end of their journey, and then it fast forwards to Himmel's the hero's death, basically, and them rejoining him, her getting basically like a reunion with a party at his funeral, and then she realizes I kind of took all that time that we spent together for granted because to me, like I've lived for so long and I'll keep living for so long after that's like a blip on like my lifespan, but in reality like you guys are so important to me and stuff like that. And then from there, it just kind of the show just kind of continues from there and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think, that's one of the things I like about it. You mentioned earlier how, the story is about, our girl, what's her name, Fearing here,
Hmm.
after, the events of them actually, doing the main quest, the hero quest of, defeating the Demon King and all that. So it's kind of like, if you will, the story is almost being told like kind of like a sequel in a way.
Hmm.
And like as we're going through the show, we're learning all about their actual journey. The heroes. There we go. That the heroes went through and everything. And I'm loving that. And it's almost like, and then as if you're watching the show, as we're going through the show, that she actually starts backtracking the steps that they took throughout their quest and
Yeah.
everything. And then she's recalling their journey and all these memories and stuff like that. And I believe that's the most enjoyable part about the show so far, just really just watching Freeman relive all her favorite memories.
I think that, and also I think I'd probably say my favorite aspect of it is kind of when the past meets the present.
Yeah,
So like one of my favorite episodes, I don't remember the episode number. I think it may be 5 or something, but one episode I really like, it does great world building and like just character stuff as well. Fearon goes back to one of this town where they had to seal a demon that was too strong for them to fight at that time, and this demon was known for basically creating an insta kill spell. When they release this demon and fight him, he basically reawakens to find out that his spell has become just commonplace. Like it's simple attack magic for everybody. And I was like, that it's such a small thing, but I was like, that is how it would work in a fantasy world. If something was like for instance, when guns were invented in real life, oh no, nothing can stop these things. We then invented bulletproof vests or other ways to combat like gunfire. Now,
yeah.
granted, guns are still strong as shit, obviously, but like we have measures against them, and I really liked how they did that with the magical system because very rarely do I think shows or books or things like that take the time to do that, and that's kind
Yeah.
of like the aspect I like about the show when like the past collides with the present because that's not the only time it happens either.
That as well, because it's like it's not too many times in a story where you get to see the events after the main story. What actually everything that comes of it comes from that, and that's what we're actually getting to go through with Fear, and and plus some extra stuff as well. In this show, it's amazing. It's a great time.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and so like I guess with that, like why I think if you guys like want to check it out, one thing like I feel like you guys should check it out is just it's a really different spin on I feel like a fantasy story because usually
Yes.
when you follow the hero's journey, it is the journey to kind of kill the demon king, get this magic item, all this other stuff. And in this regard, it's not like that. You're seeing a woman kind of try and reconnect with the people with like the memories of the people that she spent so much time with
Correct.
and how that is like its own type of quest in a way, right? And it's just really good in that aspect.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I can only echo everything you already said there. And it's a great watch. If I had to go and get my reasons here real quick. Of course, number one being magic, and then like McMillian just said, the twist they do on the fantasy world, and like I said, how it basically feels like a sequel, without it being a sequel. Like, it's like we're already starting off at max level 100 with our character, with the main character essentially. But it's not, even though you kind of get that feeling like in like these overpowered isekais like that, but it's different because this is not necessarily an isekai. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of it's just a fantasy world, and our characters just so happen to have already done the big quest.
Yeah, and even with I guess Frieren, as you put it, being like level 100 or like at max, they do take the time in episodes to kind of tell you how, or like give you hints of how Frieren got to be the way, like as powerful as a caster as she is now, and all the things around that. Like that also is her backstory is also one of my favorite episodes because the whole shit with the demon shit was just great. When we
fuck that. We go ahead and talk about that now. We're gonna skip
to
that now because we didn't put that on the docket. So we just gonna skip to that now. The Frieren's backstory, like you mentioned. So there's I guess just to set the scene here. So there's an episode where Frieren and the gang, being the gang, Stern, Mr. Stark and Fern, they're fighting a couple of demons, right? And one of the demons got hit by the attack magic that our boy McMillian was talking about earlier. Zoltrak is he was like that, he made the same remark like, hey, this can't be Zoltrak because it's something completely different now. It's basically been modified to destroy demons, which it has been because Frieren is on her shit. And we basically, long story short, we find out that Frieren comes from a village of elves that was attacked by demons one day, and she ended up scratch that. She didn't save the village, but she ended up being the only sole survivor at the end of the day. But she did kill the invader, but she couldn't protect anybody. Her master, a legendary mage, I think she was called the Flame Mage, Flamma, right?
Flamma, yeah.
Yeah, Flamma, the legendary mage, came along, made her apprentice, and basically taught her everything about fighting demons because for whatever reason as well, Flamma also had a deep hatred for the demons as well. And then you come to find out that Flamma basically taught, Frieren to always, what's the word I'm looking for?
Suppress her mana output.
There we go. Basically. Suppress. I was about to say condense. Thank you. Suppress her mana output to fool the demons, to make it look like she actually has low level, mana, because demons in this world, which we didn't mention, run off a power system. Basically, who's the strongest in this world, and who's the strongest is determined by whoever has the most mana.
Yeah. And yeah, that whole episode breakdown, basically you learn it's a couple of episodes, like 2 or 3, but you learn Frieren's past, basically like the understanding of like the demon race in this world and why they're so dangerous, and magic as a concept and stuff like that. And it's just the way it strings together is just really well done.
It's crazy. And then the final scene after that, where she essentially kills the demon that she's fighting against, just perfect. I mean, it's not even this show isn't even like high action or anything like I normally like, but it's just something about it is just special.
The way
I mean, like all the right notes.
Yeah, the way it tells the story is just very. I wouldn't know how to say. It's like unique in certain ways, and it really just takes its time, and it benefits from it a lot. It's kind of crazy, like, because it's not a lot of action, but when you do get to those action moments, it's really nice. Like the animation quality is a standout thing, I feel like, in the show as well.
Well, I guess and deeping into Frieren as a character a little bit deeper here. How do you feel about her? I guess being more humble in her approach with how powerful she is. She's not as arrogant as one would be as if they were as powerful as Frieren, for example.
I think. I guess with the whole humble this thing, I think I like. I like that in regard to most heroes. Like, I'm not really a fan of super braggadocious, I guess, fighters, but I think with Frieren, there's like the quiet sense of calm. Like, I could beat everybody's ass in here. I'm not gonna say it, but I could do it. Like, that's kind of the energy she always gives off to me.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But like her as a character, I think is cool because she's very like laid back and chill, except when it comes to her research in terms of magic and stuff like that. That's like where you get a peek of like her, like what really brings her joy, or like her inner child, I guess you could say. And
Yeah.
it's really nice. That, and also when she's starting to recollect stuff about like her journey to fight the Demon King, and like her the downtime situation she gets into. But it's really cool to see the dichotomy of like Frieren as a companion, and then her as a leader slash teacher to like Fern and Stark.
Yeah. She's a bit, speaking of teachers, she's her teaching methods have been very tough so far. You know, she's been shown to
Mhm.
not, I guess not necessarily not help them, but push them to the extreme, if you will, you know, forcing them to be in extreme circumstances.
I mean, I don't think you'd also be wrong by saying like not help, because what is it like when they went to fight the guy who invented Zoltrak, Quill,
Hmm.
I think. Fear was just like, all right, cool, you defend against it. And then like granted, she knew defense magic. It was just like, oh, but shit. And then he was like, oh, I see. So it adapted. All right, now I'm going to adapt. And she just left her down there. And I was like, lady, she could die. She could do it. Like,
She could die. Like one of those hits, even though it's regular, you know, that's still Zoltrak. Like if that hits her, it will still hurt.
I mean, I got initially because she was like, I'm trying to teach you, look, magic evolves over time. Cool. It was the moment Quill was like, I see. So I just gotta evolve again. Cool. And then he started popping off, and I'm like, all
going
right,
crazy.
And
yeah.
she just left her down there so she could charge up her move.
She basically just looked at Frieren like, no, Frieren, like, what you gonna do?
I was like, damn. So yeah, she's a fun character. Frieren is a fun character.
And then you know how we got introduced to our boy Mr. Stark here, as Fern likes to call him.
Yeah,
Frieren told him, "Hey, I want you to fight this dragon."
He was like,
basically by yourself. Well, she told him to stall for 60 seconds, but really, Fern really looked him in the eyes and told him, "I want you to go fight this dragon by yourself."
Basically, yeah. And I really like Stark because I feel like Stark is the most relatable. I feel like in the situation, he's very expressive and he gung ho and stuff like that. Like he's probably like a what I'd say most people would be like if they learned to be an adventurer.
The backstory with him and his master was amazing, and you know what? I believe one of the things the reason why I'm enjoying it so much, because I believe I'm getting some feelings of One Piece in this a little bit with the backstories. I believe that's why I'm loving it so much. Because I'm getting that vibe from it, just all the backstories and just how well they're crafted. And then, you know, just like the whole story and the dynamic between the master and student. And then, you know, after the point where Stark got so strong that our boy, I can't remember his name, but the gnome, he actually, you know, he was afraid of him, so he actually struck Stark for real.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's the, you know, how they end up just leaving each other on a bad note. But it was crazy. But, you know, he did it in the term of endearment. It was like, you know, because Fern was basically asking him, you know, is Stark strong? Like, is he a good warrior? He basically looked at him like, hey, I was scared of him. All right, Fern, that boy got some in him. He got some in him.
I mean, it's like, yeah, that was cool. I also really liked, recently, not in episode 12, but I think it was like the previous one, we actually got to see like Stark comes from, not only was he trained by, I forget the gnome's name, or not gnome, he's a dwarf, but
oh yeah, he is a dwarf. I apologize, I said gnome. He is a dwarf.
He got trained by him, but also we saw that like Stark came from a family of warriors as well, like in the like previous episodes, and I kind of like how that also played. Like we got to see how that played into his character too, like why he also kind of looks up to warriors in general, because his brother was one, and the backstory is, like you said, very well crafted.
All right, now let's touch up on Fern here, the new mage in the party, Frieren's apprentice, the apprentice that she didn't want.
I really like Fern too. She's very like the stern character, which is very
Yeah.
funny considering like Frieren herself isn't like necessarily like super playful, but like when you get them all together, Fern is like, I have to babysit my teacher and this other motherfucker. It is the funniest thing. And she also has like a really good dry humor about her that I just really
Yeah.
like. She's always like when she always calls Stark a pervert, and like what like and it comes in very like just very goodly timed. Like it's always after him just he's not even doing shit I feel like could be considered pervert. He just
He just existed sometimes.
exactly, and she just be like fucking pervert. And I was
like for instance, the one time he just asked to carry Frieren because regrettably Frieren was knocked out and they was going through a snowstorm. She's like, hey, I can carry her, and Frieren just looking at him like, nah,
nah.
don't touch her.
Yeah,
but no, I do like Frieren as well, and then you can tell that she does care about Frieren a lot. Is kind of like she might see her as a maybe even a mother figure as well. And it's just cool to see her learn from Frieren as well. And is that she might not necessarily become as strong as Frieren, but she can like necessarily what can I say? I guess become the number 2 mage, if you will, in her own way.
Yeah,
well, no, she won't even outlive her, so never mind. I was about to say if Frieren ever dies, but no, Frieren will end up outliving her though.
Well, yeah, if left to natural stuff, yes, Frieren most likely will outlive Fern. But like, I do like how, for Fern though, we do get to see like even though she's not as strong as her master, she's not a slouch either. Because like for instance, when they fought the demons, Fern basically beat that dude on a 1-on-1. Like there was no,
she was on his ass.
Yeah. So I honestly the little group we have here is great. I like all their dynamics together and separate. I can't wait to see like how at least the characters evolve as we continue in this journey. So
okay. Now I do want to ask you this because when I saw this in the show, I thought it was so interesting. So there's a point in the show where Frieren in the game, they get to the village of the sword, right? The village that's guarding the hero sword. And we come to find out that Himmel never actually ended up pulling the sword out of the stone, but yet he still ended up winning to go into, defeating the Demon King, becoming the hero. What do you think about that? I thought that was an interesting like little twist on the story. And like even if something like for instance, like if Frieren was told from that perspective, like that's how we originally got it, that would have been an amazing like thing at that moment.
So for me, I think
an amazing character development plot point.
Yeah, no, I thought so for me though, when I think I watched the episode, I was like, okay, so 2 things either happened here. A, there's just no sword. Because it was just like the way I think it was just like how stuff was progressing. I felt like there was a twist coming. So I was like, maybe there's not. I was like, could there not be a sword? Could that kind of just be a thing that people made up to inspire them to go on journeys to become their own heroes, that type of thing? Or did someone else pick it up and Himmel was a false hero? Turns out he was a false hero, but in the sense of like he didn't actually have the sword, right? I thought that was pretty cool because I thought it was not necessarily a nice twist, because other stories have done that where they've been like, oh, you're the prophesied, we believe you to be the prophesied hero, and in to do that you have to get XYZ item, and it turns out that actually the item doesn't exist or they couldn't actually do it. That's happened in the other media. What I really liked was the fact that, like, granted, this could also be fake. We have no idea because we haven't seen the fight with the Demon King. But I do like the fact of like Himmel, regardless of not being able to do it, still proceeded to face down the Demon King and became a real hero, regardless of picking up the hero sword or not. Like that was, if that is true, like if he still was the one that like defeated the Demon King, I think that's a great way to like tell a story, and simply just be like, hey, it doesn't matter if you have this destined item or whatever. Being a hero is simply just choosing to do like the right thing and to keep persevering. I thought that was great.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. Anything else you want to touch up on Frieren here?
So the only like interesting thing we touched on the demon race. I will say the only thing we didn't really get to talk about was how the demons are technically by design supposed to be evil because they lie a lot, or at least the way it's presented in the show is that they don't have the same values and stuff as humans. And technically, I don't know if they have to eat humans to survive. It was like a little weird. I was just wondering because based on our first introduction of a demon, or like in the flashback, they showed a girl who ended up killing a child, and eventually these villagers wanted to take her out, but somebody in the village was like, no, she just did that because she doesn't, demons don't know how to live as humans do, so like we're gonna teach her. And she did it successfully for a while, and then eventually she ended up killing the guy that took her in because she was like, look, I wronged you guys, I killed your daughter, so I killed this guy and I took his daughter to give to you. And I was like, god damn. But I was wondering, the fact to me still remains the way the girl did it in the flashback was like, I only did it at least the reason she used was these people were still mad at me, and I could tell that they were still mad at me for killing their kid, so I wanted to give them another kid. So I was like, okay, that's fucked up, but you were trying to do good, so does that mean that there can be good demons? That was like on my head. That was the only thing I was
I guess there may be exceptions because, like you said, because of that situation right there. But even in the end, I don't know. It still kind of it looked like she turned on them at the end, the way she was looking at them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then even with the whole thing with Flemma just mentioning demons are just nothing but beasts, and the only reason they learned English was just to fool
humans.
The humans, and then they double down on that with the demons coming back and stating it themselves.
Yeah. I just thought that point was interesting because they do in that flashback show that I again could be a lie. That's the whole point of the goddamn thing, is to be like they like lying. It was just interesting because that one demon lived among them for so long and didn't show any hostility until that point.
I mean, well, it was just like a few weeks or so, right? Because they wasn't there that long.
Potentially, I don't know. That's another thing. They didn't say like if that was over a month or so. They don't say that, but I just thought it was interesting because a lot of fantasy starts with like, oh, these people are always evil, and then it turns out there's always like one or two exceptions or something like that. So I was just wondering, do you think that potentially we might see that exception in as the show goes, as like the story progresses, or do you think they're gonna stick to that hard and fast rule?
Maybe because that may be how we throw some like emotional decision makings into with Frieren, because right now so far the only emotional decision she's been making is just decisions she's going to like help out with helping people out and just doing the decisions and making up on the promises she made in the past, with her friends and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She hasn't really struggled with anything internal other than besides, I should have, I've taken, him and my friends, for granted.
Yeah.
So maybe if, she comes to something like this, because, she's ingrained with, and, she's been taught with herself and by her master that, all demons are, monsters. And, she actually gets confronted with one that maybe not necessarily be a monster, then, what is she, maybe she starts seeing Himmel like, hey, what would have Himmel have done? Damn, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before we close on it, because I think right now, to me, that's probably like the most interesting aspect. Like outside of like, I guess, the general story, that's just the most interesting thing to me. Is like you have these people designatedly evil.
Yeah.
Can that
be good? Yeah. Maybe. I think it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
But one question I did want to ask, and another thing in this show that's going on is like the pacing. But what I mean by pacing is in terms of the amount of time that is being passed in the actual show itself. Like these are like years and months that are like just like flying by at a time, like from episode to episode. How do you feel about that? Like, do you like that?
I don't have a problem with it. I think if that's the way you tell, if you want to tell the story, is that pick up on you only pick up on the story when there's key moments, I don't think that's a problem. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of times people feel like they have to have extremely sequential stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's what is this a perfect way to say it. It's like like you say, the storytelling is really just key moments, and it doesn't matter if that key moment is 6 months from now or 2 months from now. You know what I mean? Or just the next day.
Yeah, because I think you really have to think about like the time that they're living in. It's a very peaceful at this point. It's a very peaceful time that this world is living
Besides
in. Like
that one whatever scuffle that's going on in the Northern Lands.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they're strictly not a part of that, right? So like they're not, and their goal isn't even to get involved
in that, but of course,
so,
they might end up getting involved with that,
because that's just kind of how the show has been going. They didn't even,
they have to like go through that conflict anyways to get to their destination. So
yeah, that's how we got involved with demons. But but like I think in that regard, since this show is happening in a somewhat peaceful presented time and none of the characters' goals is to get involved with the conflict that's happening, I don't think they necessarily have to do like this happened this week or this happened. I think they're fine to do that because people understand, like, in peaceful times, you're probably every day is not going to be like a struggle. It's not probably noteworthy.
I guess the peaceful times wasn't necessarily my issue. I guess it was just the more of so I guess,
the jumping around. I was just saying.
I guess, let me put it like this: it's a 10-year. We know it's a 10-year journey, which is crazy in itself. But as we're going through this 10-year journey, we're going through this shit like rapidly. Like, it's not like, oh, we're on month 2. Well, we done been through probably like 2 years, close to 2 years already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's better for them to do that than like say. Apologies if I offend any Walking Dead fans in the moment. Walking Dead season 2 had a lot of boring episodes because it was just them walking in a damn field, and I don't need that every episode.
Understandable.
Like I like a lot of probably what Frieren and her group are doing is probably just travel. Like, I don't think we need to see.
I understand. We know. It's just a different approach we normally don't see, and I just wanted to know what you thought about it.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's why about the peaceful time kind of thing, because like.
Yeah,
shows generally like they show you conflict, whether that be emotional, like physical, what have you. And if you're living in a time of peace and these people aren't dealing with a lot of
so what are we really sticking around and discussing about? I mean, I get it. And
that's kind of,
like you said, we are on a journey as well. So theoretically, time is gonna pass as we're on this journey.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, I'd rather this than us get like 5 episodes of them walking in the field and just asking each other questions to keep it lively or something. Like, I don't think.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess in my head it could have been more of a situation like we do this one arc. You skip like two years and we get to the next destination. We do an arc there, skip another few years. We do essentially is how I was thinking it, but it's kind of like moving a little bit, even faster than that though. But I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I just wanted to point out that it's a different, style of storytelling we don't normally see. And
I completely agree. I like I said, I think they're doing it well. If it was like they were jumping around and I didn't understand shit, then we got a problem. But they're keeping it. I feel like they're still keeping it chronological. They're not really like jumping back and forth between stuff. So
they're not. Well, the only jumping factor before they're doing is when they just jump back into the old heroes time. But there's normally just to explain really what's stuff that's happening in the present. Really.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, all right. Well, that is the end of the Frieren discussion. Please let us know down below the comments. What's your favorite thing about the Frieren show? And if you haven't started it, are you gonna start watching Frieren now after the discussion? But with all that being said, it is now time for news, but not just any news. It's time for GLC News, your weekly source for your favorite anime news. So let's get into it.
That was a new opening. That was a new opening.
Listen, I'm gonna hit y'all with a different crazy newsliner for every episode if I can. If I could think of something, it's going in there. But we got a lot of news for you guys today. I know what were we talking about? Last time we talked about Anime NYC going on and stuff like that. So a couple of this news that we mentioned is from Anime NYC, as well as some other stuff that is that's just out and about and around there. And I really wish I would have ordered these a little bit better, but it's okay. We're gonna hop straight into this. Yeah. And I'm actually gonna start at the bottom because I think I wanted to start with this first because it's really important. So for all the Hunter x Hunter fans out there, the mangaka, or the author if you will, came out and recently gave explained one of the possible endings for the show. How do you feel about that?
So I'm preface this. I did not read it simply
neither
because.
Did I.
Okay. I just want to preface this before we get to talking. We didn't read it. So
no.
I don't necessarily. Okay, so I think
When I guess, oh, okay, now I do apologize, and I guess to give a little bit more context, I do have some words from the author, but I'm not gonna read the ending this up. So, for the ending, I have prepared 3 scenarios, A, B, and C. When considering the proportional reaction from readers, ranging from satisfaction to dissatisfaction. To give you a clear picture, I will share scenario D, which fell out of the candidate scenarios for the ending. If fate takes me before finishing the manga, consider it the manga's ending. I would be happy if you forgave me for that. So essentially the ending he gave was ending D, the ending that like he just mentioned there, if he doesn't make it, God forbid, to be able to finish the manga, this will be the end, and he goes and explain it. But he also, there's some other stuff I left out because once again I don't want to spoil it for anybody, that he did mention about endings and A, B, and C.
Okay, in this instance, I don't think it's a problem. Granted, I am very much like don't like show your hand before you play it type of person, but like we understand that the Hunter x Hunter mangaka is in not the best shape of health, and like for instance, the author, the mangaka of Berserk, passed away not like a couple of years ago, if not like last year, and his assistants are trying to, I believe, at least come up with like a final ending type of thing as best they can with what they knew of what he envisioned for the ending. So I think like if God forbid he can't actually see his vision to fruition, at least people can understand, like see what he had in mind, or at least understand somewhat of what he had in mind. I do think like possibly doing that is a little bit better than kind of keeping people in the dark. I personally do not plan to read it unless the unfortunate situation does happen.
Yeah, and then once again, this isn't the ending he did give isn't necessarily the true ending that he wants for his book. His series is one of the endings. This is just the ending that once again, God forbid if he doesn't make it before he can finish his book. Well, his series, not his book.
Yeah, but like for me, that's just where I'm at. Kind of like I don't think it's a bad thing, but also at the same time, like I'm not necessarily a fan of doing stuff like that unless circumstances call for it, and unfortunately he is in that circumstance. But I don't plan on reading it unless I have to, basically.
I agree.
Like I'm hoping that he can finish it out, and that's the way I will end off Hunter x Hunter. Hopefully,
I agree.
All things considered. So
I agree. All right, moving on here next. I guess after the live action One Piece, all the success, Hollywood thought, hey, let's keep doing more live action, because not only after we got the Yu Yu Hakusho live action announced, we got more news that a live action Naruto is indeed in the works in production by Lionsgate. What do you think about that?
Oh, okay. I was trying to look up here who owns Lionsgate, because I just wanted to see like potentially who's trying to claim this, because I feel like this is, I don't know if this is Amazon or not, because I know Amazon bought MGM, so I'm just like wondering who's trying to get their hand in this live action thing. And my phone's not cooperating. Okay. I'm worried. Again, I say this, I don't think we have to keep adapting animated stuff into live action. I do not see the appeal. But One Piece did make a lot of money, and it did make more people who probably would never watch One Piece
actually start watching the show.
And in that regard, I can say that's a bonus. Hopefully, they treat Naruto just as well over at Lionsgate, and more stuff like that happens. We've been burned before. Everybody knows it. We've been burned before.
We have been burned before. For those who may not know, there is a live action Naruto movie out there. Do not go look it up. Do yourself a favor. Don't go look it up. But just know it exists. Actually, no, forget it exists. Forget it exists. But I'm with you. But I don't think we really needed them. But I was in the boat where if they were gonna do more live actions, I was in favor of doing another one of the big threes. And looks like we're doing Naruto, but like you said, we have been burned before, but I don't know, man. Only time will tell again. Just like with One Piece, I didn't. They had to show me, and it's gonna be the same thing with Naruto. They're gonna have to show me.
I'm still worried about One Piece live action, only just because, and it's not that like this was the other thing was bad. It's more of like, as anime continues, it gets crazier.
Oh.
That is generally the thing that happens, and I am just worried, can live action keep up with that shit?
Yeah, we talked about this a lot in the One Piece live action review I was a part of. But yeah, that was one of my main gripes with the live action series. Is like how well, like the first season, okay, nice nice adaptation. However, for the future for the series, and not necessarily just season 2, I mean just continuing forward, how like it just gets crazy. Like, how are you gonna adapt some of this stuff?
and for me, and from what I know for Naruto, that happens a lot faster than it does in One Piece, in my, like, just based on my knowledge of this stuff.
Well, yeah, well, see, it's different with Naruto. Shit gets crazy in terms of like fighting styles, not necessarily in terms of set pieces. I'm thinking in terms of One Piece, set pieces get crazy. Yeah. But like you said, in terms of Naruto, it's different types of crazy. Yes, they go crazy with the fighting a lot earlier.
So that's a worry for me. But like, I had fingers crossed that, you know, they can find success with Naruto like they did for One Piece. It's just, as I've said on the podcast before, I'm not sure why we keep trying to make stuff live action, instead of trying to turn stuff into, because I feel like you get a lot more expression with animation than you do live action. But yeah, I don't know. So,
but you know what? Speaking of One Piece, we got some One Piece news here for you guys. They got a motherfucking agenda out against us. Because Luffy, during his Mason Days Parade premiere, tell me why they let this man get caught on the tree and it just messed up his head and everything. So now he out there with a bucket hat looking crazy. I mean, it actually looked kind of decent. It'd be weird to see Luffy in the bucket hat.
Oh, someone, I mean, you could probably find it. Someone after that online drew Luffy with that with the hat looking deflated.
Yeah,
and like the anime style, so you can probably find it online.
But no, there's an agenda out against us because they did my boy wrong, my boy dirty for his first time in the Macy's parade. I just wanted to say that. But now that that's out the way, the real One Piece news, if you will, the Wano arc is over, everybody. It's been a long 4 years, and I gonna pause right here for a second. I thought we were in this arc for 2 years. When I found out that it was 4 years, I was shocked. I was like, there is no way.
Like,
Oda had us in here for 4 years like this.
Oh, okay, the story.
Right. Yeah, and I was seeing a lot of people complaining, like, Wano, ain't no way Wano was taking 4 years. Why One Piece, pays the issue. Now I would say that's not a One Piece issue. That's an Oda issue. Oda had us in here in Wano for 4 years, not One Piece. Like, I don't know what Oda was cooking, even though I do believe, Wano was a great arc. And I'm gonna get into, my deeper thoughts in a later discussion that we might have coming up, wink, wink. But yeah, it's just, man, it's been 4 years, and I was like, it ain't no way we've been in this thing for 4 years. Mm-hmm. I was shocked. But our new arc, the Egghead arc, for those who don't know, starts on January 7th. Now, I do want to say about the day January 7th, that is not normally a Saturday. The One Piece normally comes on Saturdays, and if it's gonna stay like that, the real date will be January 9th. I haven't seen anything saying that One Piece was going to be changing days. I know we changed times, but I haven't seen any news about we're going to be changing days, unless they're going to be coming about talking about this later on when we get to it next year. Okay. But yeah, so right now, the new start date will be either January 7th. But once again, if they do end up changing days, but they don't change the day, if they keep it on Saturdays, the new arc will start on January the 9th. There's also a cool little new promotional video out, which we don't get because apparently we've been on Wano for 4 years. So that's cool.
Okay. Look at you guys, One Piece fans, coming up. I think with that starts a whole. January is looking pretty stacked, I think, in terms of stuff. But should we do the next couple of pieces of news? Or is this like rapid fire, or? Yeah,
you just want to rapid fire some of the stuff that's going to be premiering in January here.
Yeah. So so start us off. For those that were following us, I think like a couple seasons back, High Card is getting a season 2, and it will be premiering on January 8th.
Yes.
It'll be looking good. After that, we have Classroom of the Elite. Third season will be premiering on January 3rd. We have Chain Soldier, which will be premiering on January 4th, which will be on High Dive. Yes. Blue Exorcist is returning with the Shimane Illuminati saga, premiering January 6th. And
definitely excited for that.
Oh, and lastly, for January at least, Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse will be coming to Netflix January 31st.
Yes. The Netflix release, the Western release for Seven Deadly Sins will come in January as well. Of course, we're going to be talking about that and hoping that we're going to be asking the question and answering the question afterwards after we watch the series. Did Seven Deadly Sins rekindle the flame, our love for the series? Did it rebound? Did it because it fell off? We're gonna see if it's gonna bring it back. We're gonna see. But moving on from there, this is definitely an exciting piece of news. Are y'all ready for this one? Code Geass, everybody. A Code Geass sequel is coming. We're gonna be getting more news about it later on in the month, around December the 18th. This is the date I got. It's crazy. What do you think about that? Because I know Code Geass is one of your favorite shows.
So just so everyone is aware, this is for Code Geass Z of the Recapture. Just so you all know, Code Geass, after the series ended, came out with a series of movies that take place in a alternate timeline, and this is supposed to be basically taking place after the fourth movie in that timeline. I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see it because I've watched the last movie that they made, which was pretty good. So I mean,
I'm glad you gave that clarification because now I have an even better reason to go and watch all the movies now. Because I mean, I watched the series, I just never did go and watch those movies. So definitely, I have a reason to watch them now.
The first three are really kind of just like a retelling of the show, but it just had different stuff happens. Basically, it's not bad. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. I did not know they were making another one. So.
All right, and then once again, fuck Rachel. All my homies hate Rachel. Tower of the Gods season 2 has finally been the date has finally been announced. Rather, it's gonna be coming out in July 2024. It took us a minute. Definitely took us a minute to get the announcement, but after we did get the announcement, it took us another minute to get the release date, and we finally got it. Once again, Tower of God season 2 coming out July 2024.
Yep.
And then this one, I know definitely McMillian was excited about this one when it got announced. He was telling us about he was talking to us about this manga, when he first started reading it and everything. So the popular manga series, the Dan is getting an anime. McMillian, you want to tell the folks a little bit about what the Dan is about?
I honestly I feel like I should keep this secret because because I think Dan thrives off of just hitting you out of nowhere with random shit. It's really good. Just know it is a wild ass ride.
Well, all right. Well, you heard it here first. We gonna keep it a secret, everybody. So both me and you, for everybody else who don't know what the series is, I guess we'll figure it out together, everybody. And of course, we'll talk about it here on the podcast as well. But definitely looking forward to that as well. Okay, damn, I didn't know that. All right. Moving on from there, Oshino Ko season 2, definitely one of my favorite shows that came out this year, is scheduled to premiere sometime next year. We didn't get a concrete release date, but it just scheduled to premiere sometime in 2024.
Yep.
And then once again, certainly not the most horrible, but not the best either. We got a new trailer for the collaboration between Wit Studio and Warner Brothers, the Suicide Squad Isekai anime. And boy, does that show looks good. Have you seen the trailer, McMillian?
Oh yeah, no, it looks good. I still want to know what the fuck exactly is happening, but I'm interested to see what this all brings because it looks good. The animation quality looks good, and as a somewhat DC fan, I'm interested to see what the fuck this will all entail.
All right. And that is all the news we have for everybody today. Please let us know down below in the comments what was your favorite piece of news, and if there was anything anything news related that we may have not covered that we should probably cover next time. Let us know down below in the comments. And now we're going to be heading along into before we head on into our final review, we're going to be giving out this week's weekly recommendation. Take it away, McMillian.
Yes. Yeah, so this week's weekly recommendation is a somewhat old anime. It came out in 2005. It's called Black Cat. Basically, it focuses on an assassin named Train Hartnett who goes by the code name Black Cat, and he works for this organization called Kronos. that secretly controls the world. However, after going on a mission where he begins to question basically the morality of his actions, he befriends two bounty hunters, one named Saya and Sven, a thief named Renset, and a young girl named Eve. They all then travel together to kind of bring down the old organization he worked for, as well as like uncover basically the plot, their plot or plans for the world. The anime consists of 25 episodes. It's really, in my opinion, it's a really good, fun watch. That's the reason I wanted to put it on here with like the holidays being around. I do want some fun. But also, just so you know, there is a manga and it does tell more of the story, because unfortunately the anime is somewhat ends, I feel like, in the middle of the story. But there is a manga, it is completed. There is a manga, it is completed. So if you do want to, finish off, if you do decide to watch it but want to finish off everything, you can continue it within the manga.
All right. Once again, this week's recommendation is Black Cat, brought to you by McMillian. And we're going to be heading, with all that being said, we're not going to be heading into our last discussion for today, with continuing our coverage of the Shibuya incident arc with episode 42 and 43. It's the JJK season 2 review. All right. Man, where do we begin here? Is a lot has happened since we last spoke to you guys. About JJK with Sukuna versus Mahoraga.
Yeah,
a lot of unfortunate events have happened. But before we get to that, for those who don't know, last episode I made a theory about Sukuna's attacks, right? It just by his techniques, and kind of theorize on what they is. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to double down on you niggas today. All right, I'm here to double down because I got new evidence.
I just want you to know there's a good chunk of this docket covered by this evidence. So like, get ready.
I got new evidence. So what is this theory you're talking about, Ace, that you talked about last time in the episode, huh? Lay it on us, all right? So in the last episode, I talked about how I think that Sukuna's attacks, his slices and all that those are actually many little black flashes. And, I went into, some of the theories and the reasonings behind why I thought the case. But today I'm here to double down on that. And we're going to do this theory a little bit more constructive, if you will, today, everybody. So step into my office, everybody. Step into the classroom, okay? I'm going to start us off with the description of the Black Flash, okay? All right. So, Black Flash, it is a distortion of space born from the impact of cursed energy delivered within the trillionth second of a blow. It delivers 2.5 times the force of a normal strike. There are no sorcerers who can constantly use Black Flash. However, for those who have experienced, those who have not experienced, the difference between them is their distance from the core of cursed energy is like that of heaven and earth. The instant cursed energy impacts with a trillionth of a second of a blow, space is distorted and cursed energy flashes back. So pause right there. All right, that's the explanation of Black Flash. So now the reason why that the explanation already builds upon my theory is, one, how fast Sukuna slices are. The trillionth of a second, that's hella fast. Kind of explains why we don't see it. Two, the visual effects we saw from Sukuna versus Mahoraga, with everything being black and red and with all the flashes, kind of similar to how we saw it when Itadori first did Black Flash for the very first time. Right? Everybody sticking with me? And number three, the distortion of space. All the floating buildings and debris and everywhere that was throughout the city as the Sukuna versus Mahoraga fight was going on. Why was that happening? Maybe because the space was being distorted by Sukuna slices. All right. Evidence number 2, everybody. I ain't done. Evidence number 2. From the words Nanami, the now deceased Nanami at that. God damn it. The at the time Black Flash record holder from the words of Nanami. Using Black Flash consecutively isn't anything amazing. Though it is difficult to produce more than twice in a row or on a different day, it doesn't matter if you land the first hit by fluke or skill. Once they land a Black Flash, Sorcerers temporarily enter a state called the zone. The manipulation of cursed energy that they normally control consciously becomes as natural as breathing. There is a sense of omnipotence, like everything else revolves around them. Does that not read Sukuna to you when you hear that description?
I don't know if you,
yes
do
or
you
no?
want a response? Is this a response?
You want a response?
I mean,
does that
that does sound like him. It does sound like his egotistical ass, like everything.
And as we all know, Sukuna is known for doing things that normal sorcerers can't do via his domain expansion, already being a heavenly feat, or a divine feat, as they would like to call it, as they called it, with his domain expansion and things he can do with that. Crazy.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I mean, you cooking.
So those are my two pieces of evidence. To my new piece of evidence, leading to the theory that Sukuna's slice attacks are indeed black flashes.
Okay.
That is all. But now this last note I have here was actually a correction from something that we said last episode. So and I did want to correct this. So Hollow Purple is not Gojo's reverse curse technique, because I know me and McMillian was having a discussion, but whether it was or not the last episode. It is not his reverse curse technique. It is a combination of amplified and his reverse curse technique, reversal red. That's what Hollow Purple is. So basically it's a combo spell, which already there adds into, or not combo spell, combo technique, which now brings in the theory of combo curse techniques into the world of JJK.
Yeah. Okay.
But there we go. But that's that. But yeah, that's my theory. I'm sorry for rambling a little bit, but I did want to double down on that and come back, because I'm telling you, as I found all this stuff as I was editing the last episode, and I was like, oh, this just adds to my theory. I got to come back and talk about it now. It makes even perfect sense now.
Gabe here gave a whole dissertation on the Black Flash.
A whole dissertation. So, I do apologize for the lengthy discussion, but it was nice and constructive. So I do hope you guys had a nice time joining me in today's classroom.
Only time will tell if he was correct or not.
Only time will tell.
I'll say this. I see where the points are lining up, and I'm interested to see if it will be confirmed. That's all I got, because I don't really have anything to combat this theory right now. I'm really in the neutral area on what it is. But I like what you're talking about.
Okay, I will say, for the anime onlys, if you would like to add to the theory, you would like to, bring your own theory of what you think his attacks are, leave them down below in the comments, because I also had an idea that with Sukuna's fire attack, his Fuga, me and maybe was having a discussion about whether that was his reverse curse technique or not. But now that we know that there's technically combo techniques in the world of JJK, maybe, who's to say that Fuga isn't a combo technique? But once again, that could be something completely different, as we mentioned last episode as well.
Yeah. But,
ain't no telling what the hell that is.
But I guess enough about Sukuna.
Enough about him, because he's gone for right now, at least.
Yeah, let's get to the problem of these last two episodes. Fucking Mojito. God damn it. God damn it. He killed my nigga.
I'm raising the banner, not the flag. I'm putting up the signal. Utah, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Get the fuck from Africa, Europe, wherever the fuck you are at, and get the fuck back to Shibuya, because shit is going down. Motherfuckers are dying, and we need your help. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. It's not as important as what is going on right now. All right, get there. Next episode, you need to be there. This Thursday, you need to be there. I need to see a glimpse of you. Even if it's just a piece of your hair, you need something resembling you to need to be in this next episode, because my God, oh my God. I knew Mojito was going to be one of the main issues, but this man is on a kill streak right now.
Yeah.
Okay? He's on a kill streak right now. From the words of McMillian, he got to go.
He got to go. It's time for him to leave. This man was in a photo booth, not doing shit, and then just happened to see a fucked up Nanami and was like, "Cool, I know what to do, fucking motherfucker." And then proceeds, that whole fight with Itadori to be a instigated piece of shit. Like,
but we're not gonna blow past this though. Nanami, his death scene as a whole, but I hate it because you knew the entire time that some bullshit was gonna happen as this man was fighting it. Because as this man is fighting slow motion and stuff, they got the soft ass music playing in the background and stuff. This my boy frolicking on the beach and shit, and you just like, oh god damn it, Nanami, not why is he frolicking on the beach right now?
He got one foot. As I said while I was watching this episode, he had 1 foot in the real world and 1 foot in the afterlife.
That's exactly why you frolicking on the beach. And I'm just like, just all the signs are there. And I'm just like, I know some bullshit is going to happen. And then lo and behold, the camera just turn and there go that motherfucker right there. And they hit on. I'm just, well, there you go. There you go. You couldn't even, and then like, so what's even more fucked up, kind of what I said exactly happened, but in a different way. I said that Mahito was going to get a rematch with Nanami and Itadori. I said that exact situation was going to happen again, but it theoretically did, but not how I wanted it. I'm done.
I knew you said it was, you can't even really call it a rematch. It was just like a reunion, and then he killed one of them, and it was like, all right, now it's time to run my hands with you. And like I said, Mahito's just a problem. Besides the fact that he packed up Nanami probably in one of the most disrespectful ways ever.
The most disrespectful way. He ain't have to do my boy like that. You could have gave him a one. You could have ran the ones with him a little bit. Show some respect. Where's your honor? Show some decorum.
Just came up and tapped him, and it really sucks because it's like Nanami was done. He was legit like, man, what did I think? He was like, what did I think I could? He was like legitimately like on death's door. It's like, what do I think I could have accomplished? He saw his old best friend, and then he had to.
If you were Nanami, would you have continued on, or would you have went back?
Like, you mean continued on where?
Down into the train station, because theoretically he could have went back for help.
Like went back where for? Oh, you mean like where the principal and
the sources and the principal and the medic was at? Yeah.
I mean, who's to say? Well, I don't know. Who's to say he wasn't trying to get there? And then the state he was in, that's just kind of where he ended up. I mean, I think I would probably. I think in his shoes, I don't know. It's really hard because like I don't even know if he was fully there. Like,
and then I guess now that you mention it, like you said, with him maybe not necessarily being fully there, and then like you said, what if he would? We don't really know if he was trying to. Well, I do think he. Well, I don't know if he really stated if he was like trying to leave or just continuing the fight, but I think it was kind of like implied that he was, going to continue the fight and stuff like that. And
yeah, because that's how I would think about it anyway. Because that based on what I've seen in Nami, he's not a person to quit when he knows people need his help. And the thing is, he knew Itadori, Megumi, and Obara are their young children that he had come back to kind of like train in the first place. Like I think he was trying to make sure that the best outcome could happen. But at the end of it, like he even said, like, what did I think my old ass could really do doing this? Like I know how the jujutsu world works. Basically, that's what he was thinking in his final moments when he even saw Habara, the first person he lost. And right before having to tell Itadori, it's up to you, kid. And then, yeah. I think if I was put in that place, I think I'd probably do the same thing. I think in that situation, I don't think there's much you could do knowing that your forces are limited in the first place.
Regroup. It's time to regroup. Four of us just got essentially annihilated by Jogo. Megami is off knows where, but who knows what the hell that just came in and whooped up on Doggin, right? It's but my time thing is to like go and regroup.
My thing is, regardless, I think of like whichever way he went, he would have still had to deal with the curse. Well, like the whatever the people affected by Mahito are called, he would still have to deal with them, and so that's a fight either way. That's my thing. Like I think even if
the
he was,
malformed humans.
yeah, I feel like even if he was trying to get back to the principal and stuff like that, that's still a far way. Like that was a ways away.
I mean, it's still a trick, yes,
and
it is.
you
Still,
most likely would have to run
trick,
into people.
yes.
So like and. Like I said, I don't know if he could have been doing two things. He could have been at one trying to find where the younger ones were, and then hopefully head back because he knew at that point they couldn't beat whatever. After dealing with Joko, they couldn't beat whatever the fuck else was there. So like I said, it's hard. I think if I was, I don't know if I just think like if I was in that situation, I don't know if I'd do it different because I think you.
It's a it's a crazy time, man. But yeah, unfortunately, Nanami has been taken out of the game. Once again, I've already now that both Nanami and unfortunately Nabor have been taken out, and we're gonna get into Nabor a little bit later. It's kind of looking like a little bit more now. Our boy that you mentioned with the megaphone last episode, with him being the Sukuna's attack range of the domain expansion, is kind of looking like that he might actually be packed up as well. Like that. Now that we got confirmed, like niggas are dying, he might be gone as well. If
not gone, at least seriously injured. Like
yes.
So who knows how long Inumaki could probably be around.
Well, then hell, I guess I also forgot we lost Mekamaru. Well, yeah, hell, Mekamaru also got taken out by fucking. He has to go.
Yeah.
He has to go. I almost forgot about Mekamaru taken out by the same guy. Ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. And then, again, Mahito's not only a problem just because of that, but the fact that the way he was fighting Itadori, this man in the middle of the fight brought Junpei back as a sock puppet and stabbed him. I was like, you trifling bitch.
You trifling bitch.
You trifling bitch.
Because why would you do something like that?
And then Itadori yelled at him. He was like, what the fuck are you? And he was like, you don't have to yell. I'm like, oh my God, I hate him. I can't stand this motherfucker.
But the fight itself, though, was amazing. I loved like how dynamic it was. Like, for especially example, for when, I don't know what the hell it was, but like, I guess the wall of malformed humans that Mahito made up and how they was fighting in that small, tight space against the wall. That shit was dope as fuck.
Oh, no, it was great. Visual, look, I hate him. But his skill is it's undeniable. I'm a hater, all right. I'm an A grade. If Mahito has no haters, I have passed away in this world.
I feel you. 100%. I feel you. But yeah, after we got the initial Itadori versus Mahito box up. Next episode comes. He keeps boxing, and we get. Good old Nobara. Now, I'm for one, and now.
What you got to say? I don't like that laugh. The way that laugh came in that was diabolical. I don't know what Ace about to say.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Though I am upset as well about Nobara's death. For me, ever since season 1, I was always of the book. What the fuck is Nobara gonna do with hammer and nails in this world of JJK? What is she going to do with hammer and nails? That was always so odd to me. And to be honest with you, I'm sorry, I never really saw her make it alone because of her powers and just unless she stayed off to the side. But she did not. She did not.
Okay, but in that regard, though, do you question how far Itadori's gonna make it? Because he only got punches.
The only reason I don't question him is because he has the whole thing going on with Sukuna right now. So he has a little bit of extra plot armor going on that our boy Nabor that is not going to have going on right now for herself. She does not have a demon dwelling inside of her right now. Okay?
I guess that's fair. The only reason I never that never crossed my mind in terms of like her, like what held her back, only because I got to see resonance and all the other stuff that she could do with the hammer and nails. Like, granted, I think where she was with her technique at the beginning wasn't great. But if Mei can make it to fucking grade 1, all she could do is control crows. Like, Yeah, Nobara, they definitely
I mean, she
more
was shooting
equipped.
bullets too.
I'm just saying, like Maymay
Oh
got
no, Maybay. No, I'm sorry. That was somebody. It was Maybay. But Maybay was doing. But Maybay has exploding crows. Okay, that's something completely different.
They don't.
All right.
She makes them explode. It's not, that's not like something they just do.
They still explode. It doesn't matter. They still explode. It doesn't. What do you mean? Nothing. A lot of stuff don't naturally explode by itself.
But so do. But I'm saying so do. But so do the nails. Hair. That's what hairpin is.
They don't necessarily
explode.
Well, they don't necessarily explode. I guess they explode like curse energy, I guess, but they're still fucking hammer and nails at the end of the day. We just saw Jogo versus Sukuna. We saw Sukuna versus Maharaga. We saw Itadori versus Mahito. Hell, we saw Nanami being up on the blind guy. She could barely even take the blind guy. Where did Nobara think she was going with these hammer and nails?
Again, you let her cook. Granted, Mahito stopped her from cooking. He got her out the kitchen.
That's all I was saying. She was my girl too. Don't get me wrong, and I did love her. And listen, she was working them hammer and nails, but I just always thought she wasn't gonna make it far because of, unfortunately, she was held back. It's like she got a bad quirk, you know. Like
it's just like she got a bad quirk. My God, I'm just saying, if Maymay can make it with crows, I feel like she could make it with her hammer and nails. Considering resonance,
Maymay is
and
also
hairpin.
more athletic than Nobara is.
True. But this is a person that was allowed to reach their potential. Unfortunately, we will never. Unfortunately, after this episode, we will never know. Most likely, because fucking Mahito. God damn.
Fucking Mahito. Man. Fucking Mahito.
Because the moment he realized that she could also actually hurt him, he was like, "Hey, she gotta go."
Basically, yeah. She basically became a prime target, unfortunately, even though he was just, he was probably going to kill her anyways. But like you said, once he found out that he could actually harm her, he definitely was like, okay, you definitely have to go now.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Because as we all know, it basically takes if you're not Gojo or Itadori, nobody else can really kill Mahito.
Or Sukuna. But
that's why I count. That's why I just say Itadori, because you get it,
Yeah, no, I get you. But yeah, we just a series of unfortunate events. That bait and switch was crazy because I'm just like,
and then on top of that, the whole time that happened, I was like, Nobara, you see this, right? Like you see the switch happening, right? Like you see him running towards you now, right? Like
I think
you already identified that that there's two of them, but like come on now, put two and two together. And even if it wasn't him, like still don't let this man touch you. And then behold,
she got caught. Again, I think what was it, Aaron? I was talking about this with Aaron, and he was like, that happened. He felt like she should have been able to react, but I was like, you have to understand. Unfortunately, as the audience member, we are seeing shit in like different time frames than what other people are.
But still, I don't know. I'm with Aaron as well. I feel like she should have been able to react as well, because I mean she was reacting already so well. In the prior fight, it was like you run down a couple of steps and just lose your edge or something. Like I don't know.
I don't know. She came around the corner. She saw two Mahitos and Itadori and just got caught off guard. I was like, that's just an unfortunate thing.
But my thing is like, why is that throwing you off guard if you already identified that it's two of these motherfuckers before you even saw the second one? You already came to the conclusion and got the confirmation that he was a double. Mm-hmm. That's all I was saying. So it was like if you didn't already confirm that self, with yourself by fighting him, okay, that's understandable. But like we saw it. We saw her go through the realization herself. We were all here for it. we all watched the same episode.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for it, that she shouldn't have at least assumed that could have been the real one or not. My only thing was like the only saving grace is that she doesn't know how many copies of Mahito there were. But the assumption is hopefully that it's only two. But like also we don't know.
It could have been more, but theoretically, but still, why? My thing is why still take the chance?
No, you're right. I like I said, for me, it's just like the way I think about it. He was running full speed. She came down the stairs.
Yeah, and
it was just kind of an unfortunate thing. And
But like you said, it's just the way, from the viewer's perspective, we saw it a little bit different. But like you said, from her perspective, like you said, it could have been just like that. Our boys, which we do know he was dashing. And, he just, like you said, she got down the stairs. It was just.
And he was fully ready for the attack. She wasn't. That's basically what it was.
And that as well. Unfortunately, he did know she was coming down the steps and things like that. But I mean, I don't know, man. But and then, oh Lord, no, man, we started getting into Bora flashback, and I was like, why are we getting into Bora flashback? What's going on here? And
I just want to say
they just kept going into it, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me.
I just want to say I watched a very funny reaction of someone seeing that, and the moment the flashback started, he just got depressed. He was like, oh, she gone. Because at first he had hope, and then in the moment it started doing flashback.
The flashback started, and you just, there you go. Because why else would we get in the Bora flashback here when you never talked about Nabora's past before?
I mean, she only mentioned it that one when she actually got introduced. She just talked about growing up in the country. That was she had friends.
That was it.
I'll say this: I just hated it because the flashback was there to serve like as a thing that it just made it sadder. Like I was like, she had friends that she was waiting to meet. She had friends that she was waiting to meet, and then also it like drove home the first thing. If you don't know, back in like season 1, Nobara talked about like letting people on to her life as if it was like a bus ride. And so if the chairs were to represent like the people that she allowed to actually like take up seats in her life, that's why like at the end, after like seeing all the people that were sitting down, Itadori, Gojo, her friend from back home, Maki, all them, she looked at Itadori and said, I just want you to tell them basically life wasn't so bad, because she actually found people to, ride on her, like, take along her life with her. I was just like, God damn. Like,
yeah. It was crazy. I am not ready for this, this week's episode, because man, I know it's gonna go down even more, because now, our boy Itadori, and let's touch up on this a little bit. He had to watch Mahito kill Nami and Nobara in front of him. Not necessarily just knowing the fact that he killed them. He watched him kill them. You know what I mean? So like, how do you think this is gonna affect Itadori in the next episode?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, not even let's not even stop there. That's all after Sukuna made him, like he
kill all those people.
Yeah, Itadori is fucked up. But at this point, I granted he got that fucking combo he got in the middle of last episode was glorious. I can only imagine the type of shit I can only
about to see. I can only, like you said, man, because he was working his ass, boy.
I need y'all to stop. I need Gege. Stop torturing the boy, please. The author, that's the author's name. The author. of Jujutsu Kaisen. Stop torturing Itadori. Spread the damage around. Shit, God.
Spread the depression around.
Like, fuck. This man has had. His man is getting kicked in the balls. Like every episode.
I mean, now, besides regular civilians, sorcerer-wise, Itadori is the one that's taking the main blow right now.
Psychologically, my boy is cooked. Please,
it's wild, man. And then I'm gonna touch upon this a little bit as well, because this is getting to, some people hate it, some people love it, right? Not being scared to kill off a character. It's like I'm sad that, like, these characters are down, but at the same time, it's like I'm happy, because it's like the author's not scared to actually kill somebody off. It's like, it's not, once again, we don't get to see that too many times, with our regular main characters. We get to see it with villains, of course, but not with our regular characters that we truly care about really a lot. Sometimes, here and there we'll get, a side character we might, care about. But like Nobara, for instance, she was part of like the main crew.
Yeah. The sacred, what some would call in anime the sacred trio.
Yeah, the sacred trio, correct. And the author killed her off. It's crazy. Like, just like you said, like that. When was the last time somebody from the trio, the main trio of of the group, got killed off? Think about it. Like, when was the last time something like that has happened?
And I think, but I think that's kind of like what JJK does really well. It takes like the premises of shonen stuff, or like just common media tropes, and not that I won't necessarily it flips on its head, but subverts expectations. For instance, the strongest person in this show isn't a villain. It's the
Correct.
it's the mentor. It is the guy, like he's on our team. Now, granted, he gets captured, and that usually doesn't happen like that. And then all hell breaks loose, and then we see like what the consequences of that, and it really just goes to show you being a jujutsu sorcerer ain't a walk in the park. It is not an easy job by any means. Granted, I think the hidden inventory arc really sold that as well, but I think this just really drives it home. Like, this is the shit that they can get into is immensely like crazy, because that like the shit we've just like the past 3 episodes that we've seen was deaths on categoric like crazy scale. So it's just like, it's crazy. I like it when I don't necessarily have a problem when it does that. Like, I don't think people should be afraid to kill off important characters. If anything, I think we should get more of that, because too many times when an important character is shown to be killed, everybody's like, oh, they're coming back in X amount of time.
Behold, sometimes they do come back.
Yeah.
Hell,
but I'm
even
just saying,
sometimes with the villains, you'll kill a villain, then it's like, oh, they done brought he done brought that man back. That's one thing I didn't like. I don't really like about Dragon Ball that much, even though I do enjoy the series, but I don't like how some of the villains don't come back to life and stuff like that. But even though that's like part of the world and like how the world works and stuff like that, but still, it's just something I never liked about the series.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the person, but I think in terms of JJK, they've done it well, and JJK is called one of the Dark Three for a reason. So like, they're doing what they've already said they're going to be doing, telling you a dark story, and I just didn't think it was going to be this rapid back to back.
Now, I know you wanted to ask the question, can it get any worse for here? And unfortunately, yes, it can still get worse from here. And I'm just going to go run through a couple of the ways I think in my head, because, even though 2 of our S-level threats have gone for the time being, there's still there's still 2 S-level threats on the board right now, Mahito and the fake ghetto, right? Right now he's fighting Mei. Don't know how that's gonna turn out. What if he ends up killing her? Then now he's roaming around free, to do God knows what. We still don't know what's necessarily gonna come out of this Mahito versus Itadori. So Mahito could still potentially keep wreaking havoc, as he's doing, unfortunately. And then as well as just the main big picture, once again, we don't really know the main reason behind
sealing
Gojo, other than he's too strong, we can't really defeat him, he's gonna stop us from doing whatever we want to do, but we don't know what they actually want to do. We know all we know is that they had to seal Gojo in order to really do what they wanted to do, but we don't know what that is just yet.
I mean, yeah, because the belief was at first that we were gonna make curse spirits basically like the ruling, like the people, basically they were gonna be instead of hiding from humans, they were just gonna be all out and about. But now we know that that fake ghetto, most likely that's not probably truly his plan. So
correct, because that was Ghetto's dream, to make sorceress, the only people left on the world and stuff like that. But as we all know, like he just mentioned, that we don't know who the hell is in Ghetto's body right now, so we don't know what the hell his ambitions is, and things of that nature.
So I'll just say this for the JJK fan: strap in. It's this ride can only, I think at this point.
And I will say, I just thought about it. Yuta, if you still need to come, but Toto, where the fuck are you? Now that I'm thinking about that, where are you?
Yeah,
didn't he pull up to Shibuya as well?
I don't think so. I believe out of like the people they showed us, that's what they got. I do think he is in reserve, but remember the problem is they had that thing up keeping sorcerers out. So maybe he could potentially show up now, but like.
Well, I know they've been, knocking veils down. I can't oh my God, I can't keep track of which veils they don't knock down so far. I believe they have knocked down the veil that was keeping sorcerers out, though, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe as well. So we might see him. I just the thing is, at this point, do we want to see him? I mean,
well, now that you mention it, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, technically, yes, because we need help.
We do need help. I'm just saying. The help. The two. We just had two people bite it, and
but also as well, we never got to see Toto fully pop off as well. So we still Toto is good help. You know what I mean? Like we still ain't seen Toto at full capacity yet.
Yeah, true. So
because the first time we saw him fight, he was really just mentoring, Itadori and going, back and forth with him, stuff like that. He wasn't really trying to, take the lead. It was more about him teaching Itadori at that moment. But man, somebody listen. We need help. Anybody. We're sending the bat signal. All right.
We need reinforcements, and we need a therapist for Itadori on standby. We did
on standby because he's definitely gonna need it after this fight. Because boy, I mean, where the hell do we go from here?
I don't know, but from what the margaritas have been saying, is it the story gets more intense as it keeps going. So
I see, because man, I'm thinking like, how do we de-escalate the situation right now? It's like the shit is still going crazy right now, even though once again the two S-level threats are left. Sukuna can pop up back at any time because there's no telling what the hell these last 5 fingers at. And that's even a more scary fact to think about. Sukuna only needs 5 fingers left now. Shit's getting crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's been it's hard to say. I want to say it's been a great ride, but after like the last 2 episodes, like. It's like shit. Like the story's good, but damn, this hurts.
Yeah, and then also I almost forgot about the blood user still out there somewhere. I almost forgot about him. He's still running around out there. He's probably losing his mind, but he's still out there though.
I guess he could gain sanity, but man, shit.
It's just a lot going on right now. And then we already know he's strong because he straight up whooped Itadori. All right, let's call it like it is. He whooped Itadori. Well, even though Itadori did put up a good fight, at the end of the day, he lost. All right, he lost.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I guess, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get up on out of here. I am ready for a Itadori power up. I guess Blackfish in a sense is a power up, but it's just like. I guess it was back to what you were saying earlier. We're gonna need a little bit more.
Boxing can only take punches.
Boxing can well, I guess he has a special type of boxing. But yeah. unless his like athletic and speed gets like on the fucking Toji's and Sukuna's and even Gojo's level, something like that. Like something's gonna have to change besides just my hands. You know what I mean? Like something's gonna have to give. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking forward to that as well. I don't know if we're gonna get it this arc. We might. I don't know, but we're definitely gonna see some of this next episode because, like I said, both Nami and the board going out like that. So definitely something's going down next episode, and I can't wait for that. But man, yeah, I'm waiting for Itadori power up.
Yep. All right, but with all that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get us on out of here. Please let us know what you guys are thinking of. The recent JJK stuff and what you were looking forward to if you got any hope left.
If you got any hope left, share some of that hope with us, because I mean, I already came to the conclusion that this was going to be a happy ending, but it's sad that it ain't even a word anymore.
Yeah. But with all that, guys, I appreciate you for watching this. Listen, if you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, please consider following us on our social media. That is at Gurren Otakus on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council on everything else. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any other audio streaming platforms, please consider hitting the follow, sharing. Really helps us grow. We would also appreciate if you go enjoy us on YouTube, at least hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate and help us out. And for those on YouTube, if you're subscribed and everything, make sure you're hitting that bell notification so you can stay up to date on all things when we, upload, drop a short, anything of that nature. Really would appreciate it. With all that said, guys, as always, stay safe out there. Enjoy the holiday season. Continue to enjoy the anime that we're getting because it's been good. And I think like with the season coming, with the winter season coming, it sounds like we're gonna get a whole bunch of good new shit as well. But this is
Yeah.
Gurren Otaku, yeah. But this is Gurren Otaku Council saying, meeting adjourned, everybody. Peace out.